Joining us in the studio is a member of the All Progressives Congress, Honorable Ibrahim Oshinowo. It's good to have you join us.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
For having me again.
And we also have in the studio a lawyer, Fred Nzeakon, the public affairs analyst. Thank you very much for coming, Fred.
Many
You're
thanks.
welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right. Ibrahim, let me start with you here. Now, the statement of the president now coming against the elongation of tenure seemed to be an afterthought. The president, as the leader of the party, when all the issue of the decision to elongate the tenure of the chairman and the National Working Committee, is it possible the president wasn't aware in the first place?
Good morning, viewers. It's possible. Let me start by saying that if you remember the last time we discussed this issue here, you know, I was frowning at it. You can see I was smiling at us.
I was about to say that I'm sure you're happy.
We had that discussion
I'm
here
not
that day.
a lawyer, but I can say I study political law, and as a politician, the constitution of my party is just by my bedside, and the constitution of Nigeria. Article 7(1) and 13(2)(b) of the party are stated clearly. And the constitution of the party is at the expense or is at the birth of the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. There is nothing you can do that will supreme or that violates the constitution of Nigeria that you will go free. What is going to happen if that works is that that's going to be the beginning and the end of our party. I was frowning at it here. When I left the studio, different comments, different this, different that. The president was aware. He wasn't aware. That's not my issue. But the president needs to sit back and look at the whole process, bring the two holy books together, check both of them. Let me tell you the consequence of that. It's a very simple consequence. PDP is just looking that you people should just make that mistake. I'm telling you, we will lose gallantly at any level of any court in Nigeria. Because the constitution has stated widely and clearly, you can only, the formation of any party is an instrument of the constitution. 4 years and provides, so it provides for another 4 years for you to contest. Ditto the constitution of the party, telling you that after your tenure, you must do another primary. And if you use, be in the name of caretaker committee or tenure elongation, to use a proxy delegate to produce a president or a House of Assembly member, House of Rep member, is going to be voided. And of course, look at what our party legal advisor, all the argument is brandishing across the media. That will not work. If we are stupid in our party, the PDP are not stupid. They are looking for loopholes to come out, to just for you to carry out this proxy exercise, and they will take the opportunity. And the president, what he has shown tremendous leadership. Some people are saying he doesn't have the constitutional right, but the constitution of APC stated that he's the party leader. His opinion is as 80% as NEC. The NEC can do all the hula baloo, but the president, commander-in-chief of Federal Republic of Nigeria, has the right to uphold the constitution of Federal Republic. If you are saying he cannot uphold the party's constitution, he will be able to uphold the constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria. So he has seen this and he has foreseen what's going to come up. And I give kudos to him, and I give kudos to other leaders that agree with him.
Okay, let me bring you in here now, Fred. What do you think this say about the All Progressives Congress, that it took President Buhari to whip the leaders of the party back in line to abide by the constitution of their party, first off, and that of Nigeria?
It simply tells you that nothing can kill a political party as fast as selfishness can. You cannot solve a constitutional issue by political maneuvering. The position of Mr. President is robustly constitutional. And I was taken aback in the first instance when they just came together, glossed over it, laughed in their room, and then extended the tenure of the National Working Committee as if the constitution of the party doesn't matter, as if the Electoral Act doesn't matter, as if the Constitution of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, does not matter. Meanwhile, in all these books and laws, there are robust provisions that at the end of your tenure, you must vacate office. Nigerians will understand it, or rather, viewers will understand it better when you say, can anybody sit now down today and extend the tenure of Mr. President beyond May 29, 2099 without going through an election? Is it imaginable? If it is not possible and unimaginable, how come political leaders now imagine that within their party structure, they can just sit down in so-called National Executive Council and then extend the tenure of the National Working Committee, which is the executive arm of the party? If there was no such provision, even in the party, it will knock the party down, because there is a such provision in the Constitution and the Electoral Act. But there is such provision in the party itself, clearly stated. And the funny aspect of it is that it's not as if the men and women will be chased away. They have option to rerun. But I tell you, I have found out that politicians in Nigeria are scared of elections. Extremely scared.
If they have their way, they stay away.
If they have their way, they will not want elections to take
have their way, you stay away.
They are grossly scared of elections, even internal elections. And that has voided the principle, that has breached consistently the principle of internal democracy that we keep preaching. That has cost PDP a lot. And I expected ordinarily that APC should have learned. A wise man learns from the mistakes of his neighbors. He doesn't wait until it happens to him directly before he learns. So Mr. President has just simply saved APC from a holocaustal decline and catastrophe that would have happened to that party, because just like my friend here said, other political parties would have very easily glided over APC.
And casting on it.
And then because it is a party in power, it would have rubbed off negatively on the socio-political dynamics of Nigeria, because they wouldn't want to go down without a fight, and then in the process, the entire political polity would be abashed so terribly. So I want to salute those who advise Mr. President properly. If we begin to say, well, Mr. President not informed in the first instance, it is never too late to make a U-turn and move on the path of sanity.
All
never
right,
too late.
Ibrahim, let me come to you on this. You heard when we played the report there, the president was making reference to the legal advisor having the constitution in his head, even though he was joking about it. But the legal advisor was there when all of this issue was taking place. How did he not object to the violation of the constitution of the party?
You know, the last time I was here, we jokingly discussed about the internal politics, which my good brother here might not, because he's not a politician, he's a professional, might not really, detail into. The legal advisor, I'm sure you know, he's from the Southwest. He's from Lagos State.
Which one here?
He's from her constituency. And if you notice the meeting that the Lagos caucus of APC held, I think about a month, just a couple of days after that kangaroo elongation, the Lagos caucus voted that arrangement.
Yes.
And we sent a warning notice to the presidency and the NEC that we are not going to be part of this. We are not going to be part of it. He was there. He knows what's the constitution. I don't know his argument, and I expect his argument to be in favor of ordinary Nigerians that will vote for us during the election. Because if this calamity has allowed to befall the party, the ordinary Nigerian, you and I, will be sad. Will be sad. He was there. And that's why the president is adversely pointing fingers to him that he should tell us. I tell you, he must have consulted the vice president. He must have consulted the Attorney General of the Federation. He must have consulted some notable lawyers in this country who are bipartisans. That look, please, come. This is the two documents. And my own legal advisor is unable to advise the party and myself, the party legal advisor, that Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, if we do this, this is the consequence. let me be honest with you. Politician does not afraid election for election, both internal and outside election. If you are a popular candidate, there is no cost to do that. And in case of the party, there is a room for you to recontest.
And so why is the leadership of the party somehow shying away from holding a convention?
The argument on the other side is that we are going to do the national convention that will produce the president this year. We are going to do the primary of senatorial, House of Reps, House of Assemblies this year. Is it comfortable for us to have the national convention, the world congresses, the HG congresses, and the rest of them? But the question is that if we have to do that to ensure that we have a thorough process, internal democracy, things that are before the other party in power, if we do those processes, it will take time to do that. It's just less than about 2 months. And that's what people like us are telling the national leadership. That this process is thorough. We must do it. There is no elongation, caretaker. This will not work. And thank God they have listened to it. Other states, like the governor of Zamfara State, has lent his voice on this, that this will not fly. Other southwest governors, northeast, northwest, has lent their voices. Well, that they've checked all these
Governor Rotimi Akeredolu, is he in support of the president's
let me
decision?
be honest with you. With due respect to the senior advocate of Nigeria and the governor of Ondo State, he's not a politician. He's a lawyer. And of course, you know, with due respect to my brother here, lawyer knows how to joke around with the Constitution, which is not going to be allowed in this time. This is our party.
You say he's not a politician, but he's a governor.
He's not a politician, he's a governor. It's not every governor that is a politician. Governor Yahya Bello is not a politician. He's not a politician, he's a governor.
Okay.
A politician is not a professional.
He's not a politician. If you're a politician...
Exactly, like Fred said, being a politician is not a profession.
Politics is not a profession.
Every lawyer can come to this, say, okay, I want to contest for governor in Imo State. You can come and say you want to
But if you're not proficient...
But the dynamisms of the Constitution, ability for you to forecast is what makes you a distinguished
Yeah, but if you don't have all this knowledge, how do you win at an election?
Look, you can win an election. You can win
that is duly contested, and then you garnered a popular vote, even in the midst of those who said you cannot get there. Above all of them, you won. So if you're not a politician, how do you achieve that? Especially when it is not recorded that a money bag was behind you and pushed you or paved the way.
Which money bag is not behind you?
No, I'm just saying.
There is no election in this country that you will run that you will not spend money or you will not have a sponsor. That's the point. Even in the US, anywhere, you must have a sponsor. I was reading about tenure, National Rifle Association in America. They've been involved in so many elections, funding billions of dollars.
Okay, but don't forget Akeredolu.
Let me land on Akeredolu. The primary, I was at the primary. You know what? Sometimes you use your enemy as your friend in politics. And that's what happened in Akeredolu.
How?
But God has destiny. I don't want to go into that details on national television. That's the thing of the past. But you can come to your village and say you want to become House of Rep member, and few stakeholders who are politicians, who sees you as a professional that doesn't know anything, can sponsor you, give you their delegates. You don't have a delegate. When we were doing the primary delegate, Governor Akeredolu does not have any delegate in Ondo State. But he is able to gather some delegates through some party leaders who believes that, no, we don't want this candidate, this one is an impostor, we want this one. And that has come and that has gone. He has become the governor, he's a governor of the Southwest, he's one of our own. But when it comes to the nitty-gritty of the national politics, you taking side with the national chairman, be okay, he has supported me, he has been there with me, of course you want to. Yahya Bello cannot write a story without our chairman, Chifu Yegun. Because the party chairman took a drastic decision to nominate him, despite that there is a major stakeholder in Kogi State who does not want Yahya Bello, Governor Yahya Bello. But the party chairman stood by him. It's ditto to Governor Akeredolu. So of course, this is the time for them to show their loyalty to the man.
Okay.
But not at the expense of people like us. Because if you use a proxy delegate to produce you in primary, what they need to do, the opposition needs to do, is to wait for you to declare you. The second day they approached my dear brother here. Simple.
Okay. Because of time, quickly, Fred, let's let you have a say before we wrap this segment up. Yes, the members of the APC now, those affected, somehow seem not to be taking it lying low. There was a meeting afterwards with this, we heard was a shouting bout. Details of that is still sketchy. We don't know what's going to come out of it. Will it augur well for the party if they meander kind of through this and not stick to the constitution?
The current situation that APC finds itself is an acid test of the strength of that party and their capacity to move beyond the present. What has been going on in APC is that because of that marriage of convenience that has been with APC, there are camps and then there are constituencies within the larger APC constituency, and then the governors are on one side, the party leadership and some other party chieftains are on the other side, and then the executive is on the other side. If they don't bring all these people into one single room and then agree on certain basic dynamics, they are going to lose big time. Nigerians are watching, and then if they don't do that, the costs are there. Already, somebody has gone to court on account of that tenure elongation. And then the matter is still in court. If they do the right thing, naturally, the litigants will withdraw their court matters. But if they fail to do that, let them wait an avalanche of court cases, which will naturally draw down APC and make it to lose big time in the electoral process. When that time comes, they begin to blame the judiciary.
Nobody's going to blame the judiciary. That's
So
why
he said
people like
if.
us.
He said if.
When that time comes,
He said if.
they should not blame the
When that
judiciary.
time comes, if it happens that way.
We are warning them now.
He said if it happens that way and it comes. All right, we have to leave it here now.
I tell you,
It's all right.
You are going to vote for us.
We
President
have
Buhari is
to
going
leave
to
it here. We have to leave it here.
Put your house in order.
Yeah, Fred Nzeko, thank you so much for coming on the program. Thank you. Ibrahim
Yes.
Oshuna, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming on
Right,
the show.
yes.